Nigeria, gunmen have killed at least 40 people in a series of attacks in the northern Nigerian state of Katsina in violence between rival ethnic groups over farmland and cattle. Police say clashes broke out between Hausa and Fulani herdsmen. Africa's most populous nation often has periods of bloody violence stirred by cattle rustling or ethnic rivalries over fertile farmland. The attack in Katsina was not thought to be linked to the Islamist insurgency raging in the northeast. However, in the city of Maiduguri, soldiers fought off Islamist insurgents who attempted to free captured comrades from a military barracks in the northeastern Nigerian city of Maiduguri on Friday. Witnesses reported more than 2 hours of gunfire and explosions starting at around 7:15 a.m. from the direction of the Giwa barracks, where the army has detained hundreds of Islamist insurgent suspects. Let's get more analysis now on the situation in Nigeria's unstable northeast. In studio with us is George Musamali, a security and anti-terrorism expert. Thanks, George, for joining us today. So yesterday, Friday, we witnessed what many has described as Boko Haram's most brazen attacks. I mean, invading the barracks, trying to get out their comrades. What is it that has emboldened them?
I believe all the methods that the Nigerian government has tried to use to deal with this group have proved ineffective, and sort of it has given courage to the Boko Haram. Now they're even able to attack a military barrack. And we're also looking at a situation whereby probably we have people in the military that are actually giving information to the Boko Haram.
They're sympathizers.
The sympathizers of the Boko Haram. And we saw the president kick out the top brass of the military. That was a clear indication that he was not happy by the way the military was handling the situation. But I don't think that solved the problem, because if these people are sympathizers with the Boko Haram, now they're out of the system. Definitely they're going to give them more assistance, and that is why you're seeing that the Boko Haram now have the courage of invading a military barracks, wanting to release members of their group, and it's giving a sorry picture on the security situation in Nigeria right now.
Right, and let's focus on the concerns raised by the UN Human Rights Chief Navi Pillay. She said that the military may have committed human rights violations in its operation against the Boko Haram. And I guess the question is it possible to deal with such a threat without, committing any breaches?
This is not the first time we are hearing this kind of complaints, and it's not only related to Nigeria. We saw the Americans had the same problem in Iraq. They have had the same problem in Afghanistan. Locally in Kenya, we've seen the same problem coming up in Mount Elgon. So I think the military is using this excessive force out of frustration, bearing in mind that the local population have sort of felt isolated by the way the military is handling the problem. Therefore, they are giving support to the Boko Haram. So remember also that the military is not dealing with a conventional army. And these people, the moment they carry out the attack, they melt in the local population. So it becomes difficult for the military to identify actually who are members of the Boko Haram and who are not. And that is why in such cases you'll find that these complaints of excessive force will always come up.
Let's focus on something else that obviously is a headache to the military there, and that obviously has to do with the issue of cattle rustling between rival communities. We understand about 40 people were killed in these ethnic-based clashes between the Fulani and Hausa herdsmen in Katsina. And I guess the question is, what impact does this have on the government's ability to restore security at a time, especially when we've seen the government deploy, security agencies in the north to deal with the Boko Haram?
I think the Nigerian government is having quite a challenge now dealing with the security situation in the country, bearing in mind that they are also actually heading to an election. And you'll see that already the military is overstretched dealing with the Boko Haram. They have come up with security measures that are not working for them. And you see now when the Fulani now start coming in and creating another problem in a different part of the country, then the government actually is at loss on how to deal with this. And you find that this issue of cattle rustling is not starting now. It has been there before, and it was contained, but I believe now there are security gaps that the Fulani have now realized, and they are trying to take advantage of that.
Well, it's a sad situation there, but indeed hoping that the Nigerian government can indeed be able to tackle all these challenges. George Musamali in studio with us. Thank you very much for those insights.